everybody, and welcome to Art with Dianne Mahaffee. Today I'm going to teach you how to make clay caricature little people sculptures. This is a high school level project, but I've taught this project to 5th graders who already have clay experience all the way up to adults. I know you are ready to see some examples, so let's meet these clay little people. This is Vincent van Gogh, and as you can see, you can make him these people where they can stand up well, and he's holding Starry Night. Frida Kahlo, the Mexican painter, and the way she dressed for the day with her unibrow. Bob Ross, and these are some that I've made as I've taught different classes. These are my demos. Everybody loves Bob Ross, and a lot of people don't know Rosa Bonheur, but she lived in the 1800s. She was a French artist and also a rancher, and she didn't dress like the other women of the day, but she would paint cattle. And then I have recently, well, I'm going to turn these around this way so you can see them a little better. And then I've got one that I just finished last week, President Trump, and his stance that he's known for. And then some old ones I did a long time ago. Now this little postcard I got in the mail a long time ago inspired me to do this one of Bill Clinton. And so just different things can inspire you. This is an auctioneer right here, an auctioneer and his helper, and they're auctioning off a Southern face jug. So you can have so much fun with these. So now we're ready to get busy. All right, the first thing you're going to need is a slab of clay. And I cut my slab out with a wire tool. But you can just get a regular piece of wire like this to cut your clay out of the bag. Then you'll need spacer bars, and the materials list, you'll be able to see that on the screen, but I'll talk about them as I do this. You'll need spacers so that your clay, as you roll it with the rolling pin, will not be thinner than the spacers. So those are paint stirring sticks from Home Depot, and I just taped 2 of them together. 2, and there's 2 here. So I'm going to roll my clay out. Now this is a template I made, and I wrote the dimensions on here so you would know. 2 inches from here to here, 8 inches from this corner to this corner, same over here, 10.5 inches from this corner to this corner, but give it a little curve. All right, this is going to be the main body. So I'm going to lay it down here and get my needle tool. And if you don't have a needle tool, just use something sharp and pointy. Even a skewer would be good. Something sharp and pointy. I'm going all the way down to the canvas. Now this table is covered in canvas, but you can work on cloth or a wooden board or a thick pad of newspaper. Alright, so I have this shape right here. Now I need a cone. Now I have a lot of these cones because they used to have yarn that went across them. And this particular one, it can be any size, is 7 inches long. 7 inches. 7 inches tall. So you can use that, or if you don't have one of those, go to Walmart and just get a styrofoam piece of a cone, cut it to whatever height you want it to be, but don't put the clay around that plastic or it'll stick. Cover it in newspaper, then put the clay around it. Alright, so very quickly now I'm going to start shaping this, and believe it or not, that's how I started out. As I was making these, I started out just like this. Alright, so wrap it around, then you're going to join it together. Alright, so that means I'm going to get my scratch tool, and if you don't have a scratch tool, use a fork. Alright, no need to go buy all these clay tools. You've got things at home. So I'm going to scratch that, or score it is another word for it. Put slip on it. Slip is a mixture of clay and water, and get an old paintbrush to apply it. It acts like glue. Alright, the cone helps you because you can push a little bit of pressure, overlap it, a little bit of pressure, and see, it would collapse if you didn't have the cone in there. The cone acts like an armature for this sculpture, which you will remove later. Alright, after you get it joined together, you need to refine that. So smooth it out, and that doesn't take but a minute. You can also get rid of your canvasy texture lines and use that cone. Now don't squeeze your clay up around the cone. Keep the cone kind of loose inside. Alright, now after you join it together, join it one more time right here. Just a little bit. So I'm just blending it over. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing up in there. Alright, and you don't have to go all the way up to the top. Alright, so you've got that. Now if you want this to be a dress, like Frida Kahlo, you can just shape it kind of like a dress, freeform it. But you may want pants, but I'm going to just show you. So just kind of start shaping it like a dress. Or you can do ruffles at the bottom. Alright, if you want a pair of pants, use a knife to come in and go about halfway up. Then turn it around, and the other half go about halfway up. And then hold it like this, and you'll attach it. Can you see the pair of pants coming along? Alright, so scratch it. And if you can't get in there good to scratch it, just use your fork, which will actually probably do a better job than my scratch tool. Scratch it like this, so it'll join together. The scratches act like Velcro, and the slip acts like glue. So I'm putting the slip on there. Alright, now I'm going to really join it together. So put it together and blend it together. See how my fingers are just working it across here? Same way here. Attach the ends. And as long as you're working on these, now this takes a while to do. This lesson really needs to be broken up into different parts. So it takes several hours really to complete one nicely, and then you need to fire it. But if you take a break, cover it up with plastic, like a plastic bag. Alright, when you get about that far up, you see you'll have a little gap right there. So just get a piece of clay, just a little slab of clay, scratch it, put a little bit of slip on it, a few scratches right in here, and just put that in there, just kind of like putting a diaper on a baby, and blend it, and it will be a pair of pants. Of course, take your time and make it look nice. Get rid of those seams or any excess clay. Alright, so then he's got to stand up, so that means it's about time that he would need some shoes. So to make shoes, this is what I do. On Rosa Bonheur, I've got a little pair of pointy boots. as you can see. And on some of them I've got loafers. But just to do this real quickly, get a piece of clay. All right, I'm going to roll this around in my hand. Split it in half because you don't need much. About like that. About like a big olive. All right. Now push down right here. Push down right here. Right here. Because that's where it's going to touch. All right, scratch it. There. And of course here. Put slip on it. And put it on. And that'll actually make it stand up even better. And then you can later, while the clay's still wet, come back later and make those be the tennis shoes or the pair of shoes or whatever that you want to have. All right, let's move on up the body, because I know you might want to do a shirt or a jersey, football jersey, t-shirt, or a necktie, or, I mean, the sky's the limit. But don't worry about that yet. Let's get the arms made. All right, so for arms, I'm going to make a coil. Just roll it out on something smooth. Don't get it too thin. About like this will be good. So kind of judge about right here. That's about how long the pair of arms could be. And you know, if you don't like it, take it off and do it again. Both of these, be good. All right, so I'm going to open up the sleeve. And here's the way you do that. Get a wooden skewer. Don't go all the way up inside, but roll it around. Opening up the sleeve, which you'll put a wrist and a hand in there later. Okay, again. Just roll it around. When you learn, I mean, this lesson has so many tricks in it that you can do for so many different things. So the way to attach that is scratch right here and here. And I'm going to scratch around a little bit to the front of the body. Okay, scratch it over here. Because see, that's going to attach. And down a little bit. We want to have closed form when we're doing sculptures because they don't break off as easily. All right, slip. Slip. All right, so I'm going to put it right here and bend. We want it to have elbows. All right, blend that in. It becomes the shoulder, the arm, the elbow, the sleeve, and later we'll do the hands. See, bend it up. And I like to always put something in my little people caricature hands, if I can, because that just, you know, tells a story and makes it be who you want it to be. And it's fun making these little tiny things. All right, so I'm just going to leave that alone for a minute. Okay, so we're on our way. All right, I'm making a hand, and I've got one already on here. You can do mitten hands, or you can come back and make fingers. But if you can make mitten hands, you can do mitten or regular hands. And here's the way you do them. So watch carefully. I'm going to get a piece of clay and make a ball. Then come in like this so that you get a teardrop shape. All right, after you do that, push this down, flatten that part. Get your needle tool and come in here and subtract clay negative space so that you've got a thumb and fingers, but you've got to curve them around. But in this case, I want them curved this way. Curve it around in the thumb. Hopefully you can see that. And then don't forget to scratch and slip. Scratches. If you don't scratch and slip, folks, it will come apart when it dries. It may look good when it's wet, but when it dries, it'll come apart. Alright, and squeeze the sleeve just a little bit over the mitten hands. Alright, while it's still wet and pliable, that's a good time to make something to go in there. So I've made a little pot, or you could make a little trophy. Alright, there again, scratch. So that means right in here, I want to scratch, scratch, scratch inside the thumbs, on that side, on this side. Put a little dot of slip, and put the little pot in here, and push those fingers and the thumb on it. So, you can have them holding whatever they want to, and like I said, you can come back later and do fingers. But some people just like to just do the mitten hands. I think I'll curve that around there a little bit more and capture it. Alright, for the head, you want a light bulb shape, no bigger than an egg. Alright, this is no bigger than an egg. Alright, roll it around in your hand, or roll it around on the table. Just make sure you're not rolling it in clay crumbs. Alright, after you get somewhat of something a little smaller than an egg, do the pinch and pull technique, so you're pulling it down into a light bulb shape, or teardrop shape again. And then you're going to put it right on here. So I'm going to scratch right inside of here. Scratch this part, which will become the neck. Slip. Now, please keep the head small. If it's bigger than an egg, it will split. It'll blow up in the kiln. Keep it smaller than an egg, but you want it to be in proportion to the person. But remember, it's going to look even bigger after you add hair. Alright, and then you can come back later and you can start shaping the face by the pinch and pull technique. You can use your wooden skewer. And I'm not going to mess with the face too much right now, because now's not a good time. Alright, I'm going to show you how to do hair. And everybody loves to do hair, but you can do bald heads, you can do a little bit of hair with hats, or a lot of hair, but here's the way to do it. Alright, I'm going to put my sculpture right there, and I'm going to get a garlic press. You probably have one at home in your drawer. Alright, so I'm going to let this person have some long hair in the back, hanging down the back just a little bit. Scratch it everywhere you want to put hair. And of course I want some on top. And if ears are going to be showing, make those ears. But if the hair will go over there, please, you don't need to make the ears if you're going to cover it up with hair. Alright, so got slip on it. Got to get that done first. Get some soft clay. Put a little piece in the garlic press. And squeeze. If you want curly hair, pat it while it's coming out. If you want straight hair, don't pat it. Alright, look at all that beautiful lush hair. Now here's what you do. Take off about half of it and put it right here. Start low. I don't want the hair way down the back, but just a little bit. Alright, then take off some more and go a little higher. So you're actually layering the hair. So see, already it's beginning to look beautiful back there. Alright, then just flip it open. Yes, this is a garlic press, and I don't even use one in my kitchen, but I use it in the clay studio. Alright, squeeze, pat, just pat like that so it starts curling. Remember to take off about half of it with a knife or the back side of a scratch tool, something flat and sharp, even an old credit card, and work your way up. Don't forget to come around. And I've made Christmas carolers with this same technique. I've made angels, and right now I'm kind of on a roll of doing artist, but you could do occupations, careers, or you could do family members. You know, there's so many ideas and things that you could do. And then you dry it slowly so you don't want to dry it real quickly. Dry it slowly. I'd say give it a week to dry before you get it fired. Alright, I need a few more scratch marks right here and a little bit more slip right there. And just a little bit more clay. Pat it. Alright, I'm going to let this kind of come around like that. Who knew I could be a hairstylist as well as an artist? But you know, it is an art to style hair. Very definitely. Alright, that looks pretty good. All she needs is some details done in the eyes, the nose, the mouth, maybe some details on the clothes. I might do a little bit more to the pot, but basically that's what you do. And so I hope you enjoyed this show, and I hope you've learned something, and I hope you will get some clay and make a little caricature person that it becomes a sculpture. Thank you for watching. This is Dianne Mahaffee.